Hello everyone, Kelly here. So today we're going to paint some flowers. Blooming finishes is what I'm calling this one. We're going to use some pen and ink along with some gold, some colors, and if you are a patron, you do get the bonus flower, and it's with my new paints that are metallics. They're absolutely gorgeous. So I started off with just some drops of water on here. Point brush here. I've got some gray going on, and you dot a few colors in here, and I was trying not to touch the little dots because I was supposed to take that dot and spread it out. And I've done another video for this one. I just took the paint and put little dots down with different colors, and then once I had the different colors down there, then I took a larger brush, my oval wash brush, and just kind of just lightly kissed them and brought some of that color down in to make the petals. But for this one, I was trying something different. I wanted to see how this would work. Now, I was also testing out my needle brushes because I wanted to see what kind of little shapes I could make with the smaller one, creating those little petals. And I'm having fun. It started out pretty good. I'm just creating those little shapes all the way around. I don't start out with a drawing on these. I just go for it because I think that is more fun. You never know what you're going to get. So I gave myself permission to experiment, to mess up, and not take myself so seriously. This one was a hot mess. I will tell you, I tried some alcohol ink with it, and I don't know what I was thinking. I haven't used alcohol ink in a while. Now, obviously, it's watercolor paper. It's just going to just make a dot. Now, if I had used alcohol instead of water, which you could do, this might have looked a little different. So once again, I was like, well, let's just experiment with it. Let's see what's going to happen. Will that ink move at all? Because I do have my water in there. I got a little bit of pink, maybe very, very little. I think it was more just me scrubbing it, and it lifted some of it out there where it had a little bit more water. So you can see that I'm making a hot mess right here. It's bold. I do like the pink. I like the bright colors. So here's where I just, I can't make it any worse, right? Let's just play. So I'm adding a little bit of orange to it. Let's extend those out into the petal a little bit more. You can change the color. Extended those out with a little bit of the orange. Again, I'm just trying to reshape some of those petals. I wasn't happy with them. I didn't know what I was going to do with the center at this point. And then I was like, well, let's give it a center. Let's give it some little dots. So I used some Payne's Gray and some dark purple and just started dotting around there. Now, I don't like this. I'll just maybe do some pen work. So I put a little stem in there, and then I just kind of put this one aside, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything with this. Let's just start over and we will try again. I did add a little green to the stem there. And then I was like, ooh, well, let's add a little yellow to that to brighten it up. Again, look at the mud. It's just, you can't go wrong if you've already messed it up. So that is what I was doing. It's like, we'll just add more to it. So I'm going to put that one aside. I'm going to start over again. And I thought I would do a little bit of a scribble motion with this one. So again, I was trying to play with the brush, seeing, what kind of shapes I could make. So I started again with that little point and then just did like a little shimmy. So those petals are like little shimmy petals. Started with a little tip there. It's just like almost a little star flower, and then give it a little shimmy shake. And they're not perfect petals. They're awkward. But again, I was staying open. I was gonna go with it. Let's see what happens here. So you can see I added a little bit of that deep purple, some dotting motion. Now I'm doing some veining in through there. And I'm liking it a little bit better. I do have to wait for that other one up on top to dry a little bit more before I add some more details to that. But let's just pop in the center. You can see where it's still wet, so it's still moving. But if I go on the outside of it, I got a little bit of definition. But we're going to just kind of wait for that to dry for a few minutes. I'm going to add another little stem in here. Let's create a few little leaves. And again, I'm playing with this brush. These brushes are really fun, I will say. They are quite different. They do take a little bit to get used to, but they do hold a lot of water and they hold a lot of paint because you've got the whole belly of the brush. So you just have to get used to working with that tip and making sure that you don't put lines where you don't want them and using the belly of the brush for those thicker areas. I'm adding another darker value in here for some more depth, and I'm liking it. I like the colors. Time for me to go back in and dot a little bit more of that dark purple in there, do a little veining. Those are dry enough now where I can do that. And it's getting better. It's getting better. As you kind of work on it, the first one was just like my dud, but the second one, it's coming along. Okay. It's kind of puttering around. This is fun for me. This is where you just get to play a little bit. There is no preconceived ideas. I think I've said this many times. And I just want to remind you, the first tries are very rarely perfect. Sometimes the second and the third try is not either, but that's not really the point. I think the real growth happens for us kind of in that messy middle where you allow yourself to play and maybe be surprised by what happens. So I recommend that you keep painting, you keep playing, and truly the beauty is in the process. I added some white and now I've decided maybe we need a few more petals. So I'm tucking some more in there at this point. Now I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's make it a little bit bigger. So in between where I had made the petals before, I'm extending those out, doing that same motion, a little shimmy. Super messy. These are not perfectly shaped. Some might be missing some petals. Who knows? I don't know what kind of flower this is. Doesn't matter. If it's pretty, I like it. That's all that matters. So as I am extending those out, making them a little bit bigger, I'm thinking about now adding some black Sharpie to this, maybe some gold pen work. And I waited for that to dry and it just didn't quite look right. So I know it needed something else. So I did it was actually not my Sharpie, it's my G-Tech 4 marker. Now this is the one, or pen, this is the one that if you get water on it after the fact, it's going to move. So, and it does look neat when you do that, I will say, because it just gives it this nice blended line. But I didn't want it to move afterwards. So I knew I had to do this as the last bit, the last measure. I wasn't going to add any more paint to this. So you can see I am scribbling, having some fun with this, going outside the lines, just tracing some of those petal shapes. And this is so much fun. This is really, really therapeutic. And I was super happy with how it turned out. So I did do the smaller lines of the petals on the inside and then went on the outside again, going outside of it, hitting some of that white space. It's okay. It almost looks like, if it's a white flower, it's got some of those darker colors in the middle, maybe a little shadow in there. And the petal is actually white, so you do have those grays and those blues or purples that could be not in the light. And then I did the same thing, added some more pen work on the stem. I'm also going to do the leaves. We're going to do the second flower down here on the bottom. And just a light touch. You don't need to do a whole lot. You can see, again, it's very, very loose. And I love that look. And then for the final details, I did grab my gold and I did just a few little dots in the center of this one. And then I turned around. I liked it so much that the ugly one that I did the first time around, I got that one back out and I did the same thing. I did the pen work around the outside of it. I used the gold in there as well, and that one I really love how it turned out. The muddy colors don't look muddy anymore. They look like they were meant to be there, and I even like the alcohol ink was just so bright on the underneath of that. It really popped. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want to catch the extended one, join us over on Patreon. We'd love to have you. All right, bye-bye.